I just wanted to pop in real quick and weigh in on an issue that's coming up recently in St. Catharines. Here we have the Keg in St. Catharines, which is a very nice restaurant that's located inside of a historical building. It's identified here with the little red blip so that you can see where it is. Now the Keg wants to expand its parking lot into the public green space there that you see on the right. So we'll just switch real quick to a different view here so that you can understand what's going on. Here we have all of the buildings in that community highlighted in white. These are all retail and restaurants and commercial buildings in general. And then we have in black all of the automotive space in the area. And then we have in green the limited green space that we have in the city. So as you can see, the black is really what dominates this picture, with some of the commercial and retail space taking up a small portion of the space. And then there's a lot of neutral territory, which is, private residences and small businesses and stuff like that. So the Keg wants to expand its location into the park, so that it can add more parking. They say that they're suffering a lack of customers due to a lack of parking. Now that's clearly not the case. There's more than enough automotive infrastructure in the area to accommodate customers. So the question is, why are people not attending the Keg in other ways? So we can look at the next image and see exactly why that is. Here we have the area that is walkable to the Keg outlined in red, and then we have the area that is theoretically possible, outlined in green. And that gives you an idea of how poorly this area is served by pedestrian infrastructure. And that's a direct result of the fact that it's overserved by personal automobile infrastructure. So here we can see that this area utterly fails to serve the Keg and their needs to have pedestrian infrastructure able to access their establishment, because it's sort of an upper class. It's rich folk, So the only community that they have accessible in walking distance is that small community that you can see that's outlined in red to the top right. That community is probably not serving the Keg's needs for customers. So the larger base also fails to include anything like that because of the issues with lack of population density and zoning. The dense areas of this city, as you can see by all the sort of squirrely cul-de-sacs and things like that, this is not a dense area of the city. There are only a few apartment buildings within that area, and the larger apartment complexes are outside of the green area. However, it's important to note the next slide, which is the fact that there's a transit hub located right where I dropped that blue pin. So that transit hub serves the entire city. Every bus in the city goes to that transit hub, which means that theoretically it's very easy to make the Keg walking distance to the entire city by one-step transit, which is, of course, the most desirable form. You just get on the bus in front of your house, you get dropped off at a transit hub, and then you walk to your destination from there. So this solves the quote-unquote last mile problem. It solves a lot of the other issues that exist, and all we need to do is make that walkable, basically, from that transit hub, which is laughably inaccessible to the road itself. So from that transit hub to the Keg would be easy. As you can see, the transit hub is it's on private property. It's sort of cloaked in automobile infrastructure, so it's not exactly accessible as it stands. But making that accessible will mean more green space. It will mean the better business opportunities, and of course, the Keg doesn't want to spend money on a parking lot for its customers. That's spending money to make money. It would prefer if the city would do that, which is why they're asking the city to remove the green space and put in the parking lot. But a better plan would be for the city to make that transit hub more accessible for the people and also for the businesses, because that will return dividends massively in the community. So that's obviously the solution, is to make that transit hub more accessible to all of the businesses in the area so that they don't have to rely on this sort of catastrophic sprawl of parking spaces that's now threatening our few parks.